Hello, my name is GregTech and welcome back to our GregTech New Horizons Season 3. I'm just over by my setup that we did last episode, producing our polytetrafluoroethylene. And yeah, this is definitely producing the fluorine slow. I could set up more turbocentrifuges, but to be honest, at this point in the back, we're not using this stuff like super fast, and that's like 19 ingots there anyway. So I figure we're going to just let this kind of chug along, producing that, and it'll slowly increase our PTFE. There's definitely faster ways to go about doing that. I don't want to spend like a whole ton of time until we can get the multi-blocks, because the multi-blocks change the game completely. And you can see that's EV. That's EV. But we do need the alloy blast smelter, so that might be something I want to start looking into getting, because some of the multi-blocks are a lower tier, and the centrifuge is definitely one of them. I think maybe we'll look into that today. I do need to finish this part of it. I need to electrolyze this. Yeah, electrolyze the hydrochloric down into, we'll probably do that. Oh, I had to go through my A system, and I wanted to make sure all this stuff was actually out of the A system. I need to sort out silicon dioxide as well. That's another thing I wanted to take care of. So we have a couple things I want to do today. Yeah. I think we have most of that out of the A system. I just wanted to like double check. So that, and put it back just so it goes into, oh, did I set that to a, okay, I need to fix this. I keep getting stuck on that in the ground, and that's because I don't have an elevator. Yeah, so that's, I need to set this priority. 120, sure, why not? I don't think I'm gonna have a dedicated area. Last season we kind of had like one of our platforms, we had like the whole setup. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm trying to do. I think I'm just gonna like these 5 things are coming from this process, so we'll just have this here, and then if I have another area, we'll do that. Dedicated, and put drawers there if needed or something like that. Or the, you know, like I was thinking the super chest could be kind of cool, but unfortunately there is no, like this setup, I would have to attach each chest to the setup, whereas the drawers, I can just dump it in here, and then like it just makes it a bit easier. If I did the super chests, I would have to have like the thing come out, and then I would probably have tanks above it or chests above it and below it. But they do store a whole bunch, and then you can void them as well. Drawers were just easier, although the controller is kind of annoying at this point. But all right, so I think let me get this stuff taken care of. I think that was that. I think, oops, I think most of the silicone dioxide is out, but I have, I'll just do a bunch. So if we had some in the A system, it might be there. But I'm saying, like, I might have magnesium and silicon somewhere else in here. We also need to set up a ore processing area. All right, always something to do. Okay, I'm doing something that I usually don't do because I don't actually remember if this works. I can't remember if you can not hopper, but like pull out the items from an input hatch. I know they're kind of funny with the input in the hatches. So I'm gonna see if this works. So the hydrochloric acid goes in there. I need to figure out which one this was again. Was it 1? I guess it'll be, yeah, it'll be that one, 11. And then, yeah, 12, sure, why not? I don't know. I don't think it really matters because the processing time, it's never going to get through all those. Okay. Yeah, we'll just do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to pump the gas out the top and then into a thing. So there, that's the hydrogen. We're not going to worry about the hydrogen. Our thing over here is completely full. It's not even like running. So I have nowhere to put the hydrogen. And then we will output to the side. I might actually need to input from the output. Yeah. So that goes in there. And then it did. Okay, it did pull it. I wasn't sure if that would work. I feel like I've tried to do stuff with the... It might have been like the fluid. Trying to pump out the fluid, which the input hatch wouldn't let you. But, alright, well, that was simple enough. Again, this is not super fast. I don't have the multi-block electrolyzer, which would just do into the 2 fluids. So I'm not going out of my way to make this like super efficient. It's just going to produce some of this stuff slowly as needed, and then yeah, like, why did that's, oh, dang it, I'm full on the stuff there. That's why I didn't realize that. So I need to I guess I'll just throw an upgrade in there for the time being until I get around to setting up somewhere in here. Which one was it? I think it was this one. Because we actually get the hydrogen and the fluorine back from this, if I remember correctly. Again, though, it's like... I would have to set up like another chemical reactor and a couple... So yeah, I'm just going to hold off on that. Let me throw an upgrade in there and then... all right, we'll deal with the silicon dioxide later. Okay, we just ran into a problem. I realized that when the chlorine was going in there, it was actually just mixing with the hydrogen to produce hydrochloric acid, and then it was outputting into here to go back in. So yeah, it's the 1 that was the issue. So instead of doing that recipe, it was doing the 1. I think I can fix this with the hydrofluoric acid. Instead of doing the 1 there, I might be able to do the 9. And I don't think the 9... I don't think the 9 has any... anything with the chlorine. All right, there we go. So there is that. Oh, but then the molten requires a 1. Yeah, and I'm not putting titanium in there. I could always dump, instead of putting this back in, I could always dump that into like a single block chemical reactor. Not really what I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to have it all on the same thing. I wonder if I put this after the 24. All right. Well, it's doing that there. Question is, what happens when we get the chlorine in there? If it's like a really, really quick yep, see now it's producing the hydrochloric acid again. All right. So we're going to have to fix that. Yeah. I wish there was a way I could like make it prioritize one recipe. And there's no way I don't think there's any way I can fix that because the output is hydrochloric acid on both of them, so I can't really filter it either. I can't filter the hatches to block it. All right, so what we'll have to do is we'll just output into a chemical reactor. Oh, but then I have to get the son of a... The other option would be to create fluorine in a thing. I could always... What happens if we actually... You know what we could do? We could have a chemical reactor with all the... like the ethylene, and then we could put the tetrafluoroethylene in one input, and then we could put the epoxid in one, and then just have one set for turning the stuff into the like the poly version of it. All right, let's turn that off. Pull that out. And then I could, yeah, move this into like a tank. I think I may do that. I was just thinking, because if we do epoxid, then the one in the middle... Well, it doesn't matter. We could always have pipes just kind of all over. I like having the GregTech pipes. Okay, so I'm going to hook this up here, and I think this is... So, output hatch there. This will be the molten polyethylene, yes. So that will go in there, and then the super tank would go underneath. Again, probably set that for the fluid storage bus filter, just in case. Oh. Alright. I don't have enough dense cables. Dense cables are annoying at the moment. I'm just going to do that. Yeah, these cables are annoying because the molten metal you have to put in it. So, yeah, there's the molten polyethylene, and I mean, I guess technically right now I don't really need the fluid storage bus on it, but it's there. So, okay. Let me put the stuff back. Oh, by the way, we're totally not growing enough black granite as well, which is not surprising. I didn't do a ton of the things, and it needs so much of it to get some fluorine. But, all right. So that is just going to finish up that, but eventually it will finish up and move on to the tetrafluoroethylene. We're almost full with the tanks over here. So yeah, I just was trying not to empty out our oxygen completely. All right, tetrafluoroethylene should go in here. I did this correct? Yeah, all right, cool. Yep. I'm like, is that the right? Yeah, that's the right. The 1000's a bit funny because it's a weird amount. One ingot's 144, so I just was looking at that. Okay, I think I fixed that. All right, cool. And then, yeah, we'll just slowly build up our fluorine. I may do some more, whatchamacallit, some more crops. Maybe like a couple more rows. Okay, I think I'm gonna do the Epoxid next. I might as well do that. And I need acetone, which we are producing in here. And I also need phenol, which we can get from one of these as well. I think we're going to do this recipe. That way we can do this all in one process. Now, I have phenol somewhere. We were producing it, or was it toluene? Ah, yes, we do have phenol. We were producing this from the heavy fuel, but we are no longer doing this process. So, I'm thinking we could maybe get the phenol. Eventually, we'll probably have this wood tar set up in a distillation tower. I don't have that built. That also gets us benzene as well, actually. Maybe, you know what? I think, change of plan. I think I'm just going to use this phenol. This will last us for quite some... Yeah. I mean, it's going to get us a whole bunch. Maybe it'll last us, but I don't think we have any... Is there any other... Oh, yeah. We will use phenol for that. All right, I may actually... You know what? I think I'm going to move that tank over here. Okay, so I need to... I'm starting to craft up the input buses and input hatches. Fortunately, I don't have that automated yet. So what I've gone ahead and done, and I've moved over the tank with the phenol, and I've crafted up a super tank for the acetone. And I think... gonna do... I don't want to like... Like where... Yeah, we don't craft up a whole bunch of the acetone. It may be a bit silly to fill like an entire super tank with it. I figured like eventually we'll have wood vinegar on a distillation tower, and the same with this over here. So maybe we will eventually. I just have to be a little careful with this. Because I don't want to completely drain this and then we stop producing the ethanone that we need for that. There are other ways to go about getting ethanone as well. Ethylene oxygen gets us acetic acid, and you mix it with the sulfuric acid. But yeah, just fluid heating this acetone is easier. I just have to be a little careful with this because it is very, very inefficient getting acetone this way. I'm almost like, is that really what I want to do? I guess technically that should be, acetone should be in the middle. And then this should be pulling from the tank is really how I should be doing that. I just set up the super tanks here. Just because they were like next to each other. I may redo that. We'll take a look. We're not burning the cetane boosted diesel that much, to be honest. Okay, anyway, so yeah, there's the acetone and then that. So that will go in to that. Oh, I need to switch over. We'll switch this over. So I have wood gas in here. I don't want the wood gas in there. We're going to switch this over to wood tar. Yeah, these definitely should be... These should be multi-blocks. Maybe I will work on that. That was something, though. And I tried to do a little bit different stuff for YouTube, so it's not the same thing every day. Alright. So, phenol. The wood tar. I mean, again, not a great ratio. But we'll fill that up and then, you know, the phenol can go in there. And obviously this can all be sped up to produce more charcoal products, to process the stuff down faster. All right. Yeah, I need the... Actually, we have 2 input buses. It's crafted up. Yeah. All right, so we'll go over here, and then I guess it'll be here. Now, I actually didn't realize we're doing this recipe. That should, yeah, that pulls that up. We get salt water back, 2 buckets, and then the salt water can be electrolyzed back into the sodium hydroxide. And then the hydrogen and chlorine can be used to do the hydrochloric acid. And then we need to get the epichlorohydrin, which is its own thing, which the easiest way would be one of these. Yeah, this this plastic is definitely the most complicated yet. So I may actually need 2 of these, so the recipes don't clash. You got to be really careful with some of these recipes. So we also get salt water there. That goes down into one of those is... And the math. It's a 1-to-1 gets you 1. All right. I'm just trying to figure out. I think the sodium hydroxide and the... Like, that's a closed loop. We need to add phenol, the acetone, and then propene in. But I think that all goes back into it. I could be wrong. All right. I'm going to have to start doing some math here. Okay, as I was looking at this, I was just realizing I think the We could put the hydrogen back in to use to make the hydrofluoric acid. I actually think that's like a closed loop too, if I'm, or do I need to, the hydrofluoric acid is, so we get 4 buckets of the hydrofluoric acid and 12. Yeah, because we're adding the methane to it. We're actually getting, because we're getting some of the, yeah, the hydrogen comes in there. Is it? Oh, right. We're converting methane. And then we're adding the methane there as well to get the tetrafluoroethylene. We could probably, yeah, I think we could put the hydrogen, but I think we're getting extra. So I would still need to like void some somewhere. I just don't need to pull the hydrogen out of there. So if I did, I don't know why I just did that. I'm gonna disconnect that. Yeah, if I put this like over here. And pumped the hydrogen back in. I don't really need to do that one-way thing, but just have it. And then do that. Obviously, this whole thing is bottlenecked by our fluorine production anyway. Yeah. And then I don't know. I'd have to let that run, but I do think we're going to be getting some extra, which kind of messes that up because I need to void some of it. I need to like void the overflow, but that's hard to do with the GregTech pipes. So I'll let that run for a little while. Like I said, the fluorine production is our bottlenecked with there. We're just not growing enough black granite to keep that running permanently at this point. If we had a greenhouse, it would be, not the greenhouse. Yeah, greenhouse. What's it called? Yeah, extreme industrial greenhouse. It would be easier, but obviously we are not there yet. All right. Anyway, I just noticed that. I was like, wait, we're putting hydrogen in there, and we're getting hydrogen out of there. But all right. A lot of these recipes are more efficient when you start looking at every like part of it. I think we're gonna go over here for this one. So I think the first part, the Epichlorohydrin, I think we're going to do this one. The other ways you can get glycerol through seed oil and stuff, allyl chloride. You could feed the propene and the chlorine together and get this allyl, however you say that, chloride, and then you get hydrochloric acid out. And then you could feed it back in. I am going to have to feed this chlorine, though. I think... I don't think it's like 100%. I think you need to add a little extra chlorine. Like this process, you need to add the fluorine, but a lot of the other stuff is recycled. I think the chlorine we're going to have to do with that, but yeah. So basically, propene and the chlorine is there. If you, I keep meaning to, if you do that recipe, it skips the allyl chloride recipe. So yeah, I think we're going to do that recipe. I don't think there's any reason to produce the hypochlorous acid instead of just doing chlorine directly. So let me do that recipe. Also, let me do that so I can see it all out. So that's going to produce the epichlorohydrin, the salt water, and then the hydrogen. So I need to process this back down into that. Okay, we are back. So I've gone ahead and got the phenol and the acetone connected here. We're also in the middle of a blood moon, unfortunately, with the P2P tunnels that are connected over to our distillation area. And I was kind of going back and forth between doing the bisphenol route and then mixing it with the epichlorohydrin to get the molten epoxid, or skip that step. And I'm almost wondering if we do it this way, the molten bisphenol actually gives us the water that we're going to use to craft up the epichlorohydrin. So I'm almost like, would that be easier? Because I can feed the water back in. And then obviously this, but then I have to deal with the hydrochloric acid and the salt water. Whereas if I do it this route, where we skip that step of it, but I get salt water, and then I need to feed water into the thing. But then I have to deal with that. So yeah, it's like the problem I'm kind of running into is we're going to get, oh, actually, epichlorohydrin. Oh, it's two. I just realized it's two epichlorohydrin. That's where my math's getting messed up. It's technically one bisphenol and two epichlorohydrin to get the molten epoxid. I just realized that. So that would double all the stuff. So we're actually getting 4 buckets of this and 2 of that. So are we ending up with... all right. That changes things a little bit. Are we ending up with extra sodium hydroxide? Okay, so I'm just going to start getting this up and running. Just helps visualizing it. I know I could like do spreadsheets and stuff, but I prefer not to do that right now. So I'm just going to do, we're going to do the epichlorohydrin first, and then I'm going to add 8 buckets of the chlorine, and then the propene. And I have some sodium hydroxide. So we're going to add 6 of that just to see what we get here. So there's the input buses and the output bus. Need one more. Output. We'll just put this here. I don't know if this is where this is going to stay permanently. But, all right. So hydrochloric acid on that one. That salt water. I guess I could add them like that. And then epichlorohydrin will be there. All right. So in theory, propene. Oh, I don't have the... Ah, what did I do? There we are. I didn't put this in. So that should be 2 of them. That should be the epichlorohydrin. All right. So then the salt water and then 4 of that. So I do need to get some of this hydrochloric acid back in, but I also need some of the chlorine out of it as well, which is where I'm kind of running into. How do I split that up? Okay, it looks like the 4 hydrochloric acid, we're still going to have to add back into this. So this is going to get us 4 chlorine, but we need to add 4 more in to the process. But it's also going to give us some extra hydrogen, which I can actually use to get some of the hydrochloric back. I'm going to have to figure out how I want to go about doing this. Maybe keeping a input hatch fully stocked with hydrochloric acid so the overflow gets processed back down into chlorine would maybe what I want to do. I know in the 3rd season I basically voided a whole lot of the stuff, but I'm trying to do this as efficiently as possible this time. Also, we can see that we are indeed processing, we're getting more hydrogen back. It's because of the methane, which has a bunch. So I'm almost thinking we'll do this. I'm going to throw a ender fluid conduit on that. And then I think I can round robin. Or not round robin, priority. Oh, there is no priority. I forgot about that. There's no priority on the... Yeah. All right, so I'm running into both things. I'm like, okay, so I need to void part of this, but I don't want to void half of it. And then I need to figure out how to deal with the hydrochloric acid to get it back in, but I only need part of it in. The other parts need to be broken back down into chlorine. So, all right, this is going to take me some time to figure out, but we'll come back next episode. Any ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments. I love hearing different suggestions because there are some things I overlook for sure. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. So thanks for watching and have a good one.